It's a Thursday, so as ever, welcome to another exciting episode of MongoDB TV Cloud Connect. I'm Shane McAllister. I'm a lead developer advocate on the developer relations team here at MongoDB, and I host this Cloud Connect show every Thursday. We stream on YouTube and on LinkedIn, and for regular viewers, it's good to have you back again. For new viewers, you're very welcome. Do check out the past shows that we have. You'll see them in the events tab on LinkedIn and in the live tab on YouTube as well. And look out for our forthcoming episodes. We've got a lot of live streaming going on here at MongoDB. While we're waiting to get underway, let us know who you are and where you're tuning in from. We love to see where our audience is. And once underway, if you have any questions for me and our guest, please drop them into our chat and we'll try to answer them live. And if we don't get to them live, we'd certainly try and cover them at the end of our stream. This show is being recorded, so don't worry. It will be available on MongoDB's YouTube channel and on LinkedIn once it's finished. So if you can't stay for all of it, don't worry. You can jump back in. And please, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe to MongoDB if you haven't done so already. And if you're on Facebook, please follow MongoDB for all the latest posts and news. In this episode, we're going to explore how DigitalOcean Managed MongoDB's simplicity and entry-level pricing makes it an attractive choice for developers of all backgrounds. We're going to dive into the seamless collaboration between DigitalOcean and MongoDB and how that can help transform the way you build and deploy your applications. So whether you're a seasoned developer or just starting out on your tech journey, this conversation, I hope, promises to offer insights that will help leverage the power of MongoDB and DigitalOcean to supercharge your projects. I'm thrilled to introduce you today to our guest. Chris is an advocate for all things developer, and today he's going to take us on a journey through the user-friendly landscape of DigitalOcean's cloud ecosystem, highlighting the ease of managing MongoDB databases and its integration also with the DigitalOcean App Platform. So without further ado, Chris, welcome to MongoDB Cloud Connect.
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me.
No, it's great to have you on board. So you're very welcome. Where in the world are you? We ask our viewers where they are. Where are you joining us from?
Yeah, I am joining from Las Vegas.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So interesting part of the world.
I always have to follow that up with, no, I don't live in any of the casinos. I actually haven't been down to that area of town in months. So,
Okay.
uh, yeah.
So you're on the outskirts, and I believe the Formula One is visiting Las Vegas. Is it this weekend or so? So I presume it's super crazy there.
Yeah. I'm gonna stay away from that. But I mean, there was a time where I said to myself, you know what? Maybe we get like a hotel room, get one of the balcony rooms,
Yeah.
and like oversee what's going on. But the prices are uh, they're a little too far up there.
I can well imagine. I can well imagine. And I think also you told me when we were prepping for our show that we're very fortunate. This is the last stream you're going to do from this house that you're in at the moment. You're in the middle of moving house, Chris.
Yes, I am moving. So I'm gonna uproot myself from Las Vegas. I'm going over to the Denver area. Um, and I'm born and raised Las Vegas, so this is kind of a big change for me. Um, desert kid through and through, and now we're gonna get some snow, gonna get 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, we'll
Seasons are
see how
going to
it
be a
goes.
thing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll escape the oppressive heat of Las Vegas summers, right?
Yeah. This one was a tough one, and I have 2 kids under 2 now, and the it was on record the hottest summer
Oh,
ever.
wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Wow.
it was time.
Okay. Well, listen, good luck in your move. I do appreciate you hanging on and staying on in this stream and not dismantling your studio there before we got to this episode. So thank you so much. Chris, before we dive into DigitalOcean and MongoDB, tell us about your journey. Where have you been as a developer and what got
Sure,
you to this role in DigitalOcean today?
sure. Yeah, real quick, I want to shout out to Nurses Plus from Ghana. What's up? Um, yeah, love hearing where everybody's from because
Mm,
that like just gives me so much energy to know that we have like a global audience, right? Um, so yeah, anybody else in chat would love to hear where you're from. Uh, Jesse said Texas, which is awesome. Um, Texas is a big place. Yeah, my developer journey, I have been coding for about 20 years now. Wow. Um, but I was given it's funny because I didn't even plan to get into coding. I didn't even
okay.
think about the field. Somebody gave me a bootleg version of Dreamweaver.
Oh, wow. Okay. That goes back. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
What's up, Mohammed from Sri Lanka? Yeah, so I got this bootleg version of Dreamweaver, and I said, "Look at the price of this thing. It's like $1,300, and I got it for free. Don't tell Adobe." Uh, um, so I said to myself, "You know what? It's an expensive piece of software. I might as well learn how to use it." So I started doing the drag and drop that you do in
Mhm.
Dreamweaver to build a website, and then I like looked at the code underneath it, and it was disgusting. It was terrible. The divs were like misaligned. The
Yeah.
links weren't closing correctly. So then it was a journey for me, like to figure out how to write HTML correctly. And then I made my neighbor's website. And then I made a web development tutorial website called scotch.io, if any of you have heard of it.
Mhm.
And grew that up to be a pretty large website, got that acquired by DigitalOcean. And I've been here at DigitalOcean.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I think I echo your journey into being a developer. Yeah, I remember Dreamweaver and similar products back in the day. They would just put so much cruft around all of the code. And I remember doing a project for a client. It was a website for them, and we finished it. A large enough kind of a computing company, and this will totally date me now. But I gave them back their website on a floppy disk, and they were going, "Hold on, the whole website is on this disk." And they're going, "We got 2 CD-ROMs for our previous website." I was going, "Yeah," because there was so much nonsense. I ripped out everything, made it super small, super neat, super lean, and gave it back to them on a floppy disk, and they couldn't believe it. But yeah, when you look under the hood of the HTML that was generated by some of those tools back in the day, it was just crazy, absolutely
Oh,
crazy.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Um,
And how long have you been at DigitalOcean then, so Chris?
So I will be hitting 4 years this
Okay,
month, actually, which
okay.
time flies. Yeah, we've done, you know, so much stuff going on. Launched a couple products, which we'll talk about today. We've gone through 4 years of Hacktoberfest. If anyone
Mhm.
partakes, shout out in chat. What's up, Ferenc from Serbia, Rajesh from India? Sorry if I say names wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that the comments are coming through. We didn't think the link to LinkedIn was working before we came live on air. So I see that you're there. I see that the comments are coming through from LinkedIn. I know I had trouble myself getting into the event via LinkedIn. So if you are tuning in and you're having trouble in LinkedIn, jump over to YouTube. You go to the MongoDB live page on YouTube, and you'll get in there as well too if it doesn't stay up. Before we get into, I suppose, specific details about Managed MongoDB and DigitalOcean, tell us a high-level pitch for DigitalOcean. What's your ecosystem? What are the suite of products that you have, and what do most developers come to DigitalOcean for first, and then why do they stay? What else do you have?
Sure. Yeah, DigitalOcean prides itself on its simplicity, right?
Mhm.
And I've been a DigitalOcean customer since before I joined and long before I joined. And I hosted my projects on DigitalOcean. And I think why I was kind of gravitated towards joining DO as a company is their value proposition is like, look, come here, spin up a droplet, which
Mhm.
is their server equivalent. It's their server product. Um, and build on that. And we want to give you simplicity, and we want to give you affordable prices. Like the $5 droplet has always been like the thing that stands
Mhm.
out. And you can take these servers pretty far, right? Like I hosted a 4 million page view website per month on a $15 droplet, and
Oh, wow. Okay.
um, yeah. So to do that kind of scale on 15 a month is fantastic. And the thing that kind of drew me to DO is one, the community aspect, the
Mhm.
tutorials, and the amount of free content they put out kind of mirrored my own journey of trying to just educate more developers. And the growth path that they like to show, right? Like I came on and I joined and just made a little droplet, and then all of a sudden my site's getting bigger, so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll add another droplet, I'll add in a load balancer. um, oh, like my database is stuck on one of these droplets. I got to move that out and use a managed database, and link them all together. And now I start to see myself being more of like a server admin when I had never thought I was going to be that, right?
Yeah.
But it's good because they have the tutorials, they have simplicity in their dashboard, and I've tried on other cloud hosting providers, and
Mhm.
it just wasn't for me, right? Like it was a little bit too complex. And I think DigitalOcean does a great job still at keeping that value of simplicity and scalability.
Excellent. And I know we're going to get into that when we go through the demo as well too. And I think, I've come across DigitalOcean before. I know a lot of developers like yourself would have used it for projects in the past. And I think any of the comments that they've said to me would echo what you're saying there, Chris, that it was just super easy to get up and running, very scalable. So, I mean, from a perspective of hopefully recognition within the developer community, it's out there, most definitely. I used to be a mobile developer in the past, and a lot of the back ends were on DigitalOcean, et cetera, as well too. So it's great to see. With MongoDB and DigitalOcean, you have managed MongoDB. So tell us a little bit about that. And I think we're going to probably go into the demo. I know we want to maybe spin one up and connect to it via Compass, which is our tool. And then I also know we want to spend a bit of time talking about DigitalOcean's app platform. So does it suit you to get started, and let's show DigitalOcean Managed MongoDB and how it helps?
Yeah, absolutely. I've prepped a few slides here, so I'm going to throw those up. This is the DigitalOcean homepage.
Mhm.
Dream it, build it, grow it. Actually, is pretty accurate for DO. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so I prepped some slides. What's up,
Cool.
William? William in chat.
Yeah.
I know
Well,
I'm a good
welcome everyone
friend.
in chat. Do tell us if you missed the beginning, tell us who you are and where you're joining us from. We love to see where the audience is coming in. I know we've got, quite a good number joining us on LinkedIn as well too. So I can see LinkedIn now, and I think it's behaving, but as we said there, and Jesse, thank you for the comment. If there's any issues on LinkedIn, jump across to YouTube Live as well.
Yeah, William, post out where you're joining in from, because I know if you ask him in a different month, it'll be a different answer, and it's fantastic to see.
A proper digital native then. So
yeah,
to
the
move
nomad.
around. And I see Ado shouts out for Vegas as well too. Ado, a prior colleague of ours and a prior colleague of yours too, Chris, right?
Yeah. Otto is actually like 2 miles away from me down the street.
Good stuff. William's in Oslo, he says.
Oslo,
Norway.
for the month, getting out before it gets too cold.
We'll see. Very good.
Yeah, so let's talk about DigitalOcean Managed MongoDB. I know a lot of you are probably very familiar with MongoDB Atlas, right, which is a great platform. So we'll talk about the benefits of DigitalOcean's offering for Managed MongoDB and why you would want to maybe switch over and use it with your other DigitalOcean products that you have. So hassle-free MongoDB for modern apps. We're going to go through some slides. I'll talk about some of the benefits, and then we'll do a demo.
Excellent. Sounds good to me.
Awesome. So DigitalOcean prides itself on being able to cater to entrepreneurs, startups, SMBs, that small to medium-sized business that makes up the core of our customers.
Mm-hmm.
And we like to say, like, being an infrastructure provider, like, we don't just provide infrastructure, right? We're kind of the gateway to enable people to build things that can change the world, right? Like, we host websites that provide real value to real people. So we don't take that lightly. We think about that in our mission statement pretty often. And one of the things that we've recently released is called App Platform. Yeah, you can think of it as our platform as a service.
Mm-hmm.
And really, you just take a GitHub repo and you deploy it, and we'll make sure that we can handle all of your management, right? So we have droplets, which is if you want to get in there, deploy it yourself, kind of tweak the settings of your server. We have App Platform, which is a little bit more managed service where you just deploy straight from GitHub, which I think a lot of us are doing these days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I love that scales apps, not costs at the bottom, that bottom bullet.
Yes, I think we all are pretty happy with that.
Well, it's a worry for developers, and as you said, you appeal to entrepreneurs and small, medium businesses as well. And we see it all the time. Like, what if my app takes off? What if things go viral? What all of a sudden I've got, huge increased bandwidth, huge increased compute. How do I manage that? How do I look after that? I know from a MongoDB perspective, you can put in alerts and et cetera, but it is a key concern, particularly in the space whereby, things can change overnight in terms of scale for web apps and mobile apps.
Right. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that things can change overnight, because sometimes you're building something and then you hit scale and you're worried about the customers and the scale more than you are about the bill at that point, right? Like you can't slow everything down just to say, oh, I have to migrate away to, lower my bill. That's something you kind of just have to eat the cost while you're growing and then reevaluate later.
Yeah, it's a real concern, I suppose, for people, because you're that's what you're building. Whatever service or product you're doing is building to reach a bigger audience, but then reaching a bigger audience comes with its own set of problems and new constraints as well that you have to be able to adapt and be very, very flexible with.
Yeah. But yeah, good problem, right?
It's a nice problem to have, and certainly a lot easier than it was maybe 15 years ago, whereby increased scale meant get another physical server and plug it into your infrastructure. So the cloud makes a lot of things simpler now.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, DigitalOcean Managed MongoDB. I'll show you how to spin one up. But the value proposition is very similar to Atlas, right? Like, fully managed database as a service. We provide the provisioning, scaling, updates, backups, so you don't have to worry about all that good stuff. And you can just worry about building your applications, which is what I like to do.
And I think one of the key things, and again, like, look, MongoDB has a lot of partners, and people say all the time, oh, why do you do these partnerships? Because essentially, they have products similar to yours, or they're competing with you for the same developers and the same eyeballs of developers. But in this instance, something like Managed MongoDB, for somebody who's built something on DigitalOcean, who has, say, that scaling issue that requires a database, this just allows them to stay put within your ecosystem, but still get all the benefits of MongoDB.
Absolutely. That's honestly the best way to put it. We could probably wrap up now.
We're done. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. That's your value prop right there.
Just do that. Yeah. So you're going to show how easy that is to do, and also a bit about the cost effectiveness as well too.
Yes, absolutely. So I have a few more slides. Simplify your MongoDB administration, right? Like more focus on your apps, less on maintaining databases. Grow as you scale, and take advantage of all your MongoDB features you'd expect. And yeah, challenges of self-managing databases. I'm sure that this audience is well aware of these things, right? Like you don't want, if databases aren't your core competency and you just want to ship product and store your stuff somewhere, managing databases is not really the best option, right?
Yeah, and let's be super honest, it's not the most exciting thing to spend your time having to do, right, as well too. So hand it over to people who know how to do that and have tools and automations that manage it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, like you look at the SaaS tooling landscape, and I feel like, there's a lot of AI pop-ups happening right now, and that's such an interesting space to be in.
Yeah,
but
you got to get that
side,
.ai domain name attached to whatever product you have, right?
Yep. And then on the other side of that, there's like a lot of database tooling happening, which I love to see. Probably like Prisma being one of the bigger ones recently. And yeah, I think that like leans into saying, hey, databases are tough. Let's build ways to make them easier.
Yeah, totally. And that's it. And as everything gets more data reliant and we're generating more and more data as well too, that management, that overhead, that administration, that scalability, that's just hard to keep up with. And as I said, when we were talking about, becoming potentially viral overnight or something, incredibly hard to keep up with something like that. So yeah, get somebody else to do it for you.
Yeah. You're dropping the best one-liners. Yeah, get somebody else to do it. Yeah, no, get somebody else to do it. Should be on the homepage.
Perfect. So, excellent. So this explained this, how your droplets plus Kubernetes and your app platform all combine towards Managed MongoDB then.
Yeah. So linking Managed MongoDB to any of our 3 compute options is pretty easy to do. And we can do it securely too, using trusted sources, so that, let's say, like only this droplet can access this MongoDB instance. And I think that's something that was like one of our most requested things that we had to ship, because security is so important, especially at the database level, right?
Totally. And it's something that, it needs to be designed in and thought about, but sometimes it's something that developers leave until the last possible moment, and they're not concerned about that. They're trying to build their apps, in fairness, and do what they do best, but it needs to be there, most definitely. But it's sometimes always an afterthought.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that DigitalOcean also prides itself on is affordability when you start. We start at $15 a month for MongoDB, and 3-node replica set starting at $45 per month. And I believe that's all my slides, so we can just jump straight into a demo.
Excellent. We love demos here. So yeah, this is good. And fair play, short and sweet on the old slides there, Chris. Thank you very much. Let's get into the meat of it.
Yeah, this is where I excel, right? Like the live demo. Yeah. So if I log into my DigitalOcean database dashboard, I'll see all of my resources here. And on the left, you can see all of the products that we offer. And if I hit over to databases, I have a few. I have a Mongo, I have a Postgres, I have one named for a Laravel app and one named for this aquarium project I was messing around with. But these three are Postgres. This one's Mongo right here. And I'll
Cool.
show you how to create a brand new Mongo database from scratch on DigitalOcean right now. So we'll hit create database right here. And the first thing that you have to choose is your data center region. I'm just checking on Zoom and how good this text looks on stream.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's pretty clear at this end, I think. So hopefully should be good.
Solid. Okay. Yeah. So choose your data center region. You want your database to be as close to your other resources as possible so that the connection between them is lower latency, a little bit faster for your end users, right? And here we can see that in NYC1, I have one droplet and 5 other databases. And I'm just going to go with NYC1 to get it closer to my other resources.
Okay. Makes sense.
We have a VPC that you can choose from. You can create a new one. I'm just going to click on my default one here.
And then you get to choose the database. We have to acknowledge other databases do exist, but it's nice to see MongoDB at the top of the list there, Chris.
Yes. So yeah, absolutely. So we're going to choose Mongo here. And then as we scroll down, we select our plan. We'll stick with the $15 a month, 1 vCPU, 1 gig of RAM, 15 gigs of storage. And we can do standby nodes for 0 downtime recovery for $30 a month. And we can name this MongoDB TV. And there you go. As simple as we can try to make it, right? Like you have your primary node, you have your standby nodes, you have your total cost for the month, and you just go ahead and click Create Database Cluster.
It couldn't be easier. All on the one screen, all just to scroll away, just get to the bottom and create. And it's done. Wow.
And it's done. So yeah, that'll spin up. We'll see the progress bar here going. And while it's going, you can actually configure it as it's spinning up. So let's see. Thank you for using, I'll zoom out here. Manage databases. Just a little zoom. This is like the toughest part of streaming. Zooming.
That looks good to me.
All right. So provision is usually complete within 5 minutes, but while you're doing that, we'll get started. So we can go and, as I said earlier, you can restrict inbound connections. And this is something that we want to put up front, right? Like you said, that security sometimes is like a little bit waited for until the back end of a project. We want to put that front and center and say, look, if you know you're going to use this database with a certain project, click here and we'll show you all of the other projects that you've already deployed to DigitalOcean.
Okay.
And once you click these, like right now, if you don't do anything with this input box, it'll be public accessible. And here we'll say, hey, I want my current computer to use it so that I can have local development. And these are my app platform apps here. And then you can see I have one droplet down here. So by saying allow these inbound sources only those two will have access at the network level.
Okay. Okay. And if you skip that, obviously it's public access.
Yes, public access. And I used to skip it when I do demos of spinning up a database on DigitalOcean. And then I get to this stage, right? And then I'm like, okay, here's your username, here's your password. And then I would show the password and, you know, everyone in chat just like immediately copies it, goes into the database, starts throwing stuff in like.
Yeah, you've been here before. Yeah, you know what happens. And you know, with the best will in the world, developers can wreck your heads like that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, that's why we secured the database and now we don't have to deal with that.
Exactly. No one can get in but you.
Yeah. But it is impressive. Somebody got in like 5 seconds one time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never,
um,
never good. We have people come on to the stream and, they're doing that on the other window that's off the stream, and then they're
yep.
bringing
Yep.
back in their browser, etc. So yeah, this is securing it just locally to yourself is the best way to go, especially for these live stream demos.
Yeah, so you have your connection params here, which you can take and drop into any application, right? Like if you have a Node app or something like that, you can actually drop in the connection string,
Mhm.
and I'll just click show password here. I'll grab that, copy that, and I'll just go straight into Compass. Where's Compass? Zoom on Compass. Yes, I can. And I'll paste that in and
So
click
for
connect.
those on the stream
Oh,
who mightn't know, Compass is our application, our GUI into essentially Atlas. You can do a ton of things with Compass. Do check it out. It's often overlooked when we talk about MongoDB Atlas, etc. But I think it's a super powerful tool.
yeah, absolutely. And I wasn't able to connect because it's still creating. So we're going to let that go and do its thing. But what I do have, if I go back to my databases, and
Mhm.
we have a question from Rajesh, and I actually don't have a direct answer for it because I'm not sure what Atlas pricing looks at like right now. Um,
Yeah, and Rajesh, I don't know either. It's there or thereabouts. I don't think there's any significant difference between the two. I think we're just about making developers' lives easier. So if you're doing a lot of stuff on DigitalOcean already, you're bringing across into Managed MongoDB that way. We do have a free tier, an M0 tier, free forever, but it's got much smaller resources, much smaller memory, much smaller disk space than what Chris was showing on spin up here as well too. So if you want to do something free, is there a free? There's no free managed MongoDB on DigitalOcean.
no, our cheapest will start at $15 a
Yeah,
month. But
yeah.
again, right, like you said, it depends on the compute and
Mhm.
or the power you want behind it.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're probably equivalent. Once you bump out of our free tier, it's in and around the same level, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say, yeah, I wish I had a better answer, but it's pretty much like go try to configure one on each side for your use case and then see which one works. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna let that spin up. I have one already created here. This DB MongoDB NYC. I have that in Compass. Let me just save this one. MongoDB TV.
Hmm.
We'll go green. And here's the recent one, which is the one that I already had,
Okay.
and I'll connect to that. And here you can see all of your databases. I created this tweets one,
Hmm.
and you can see all your records in there. And just as you'd expect from like MongoDB exploration of your database, right?
Yeah, that's what I would have expected anyway. Back and if it was back on Atlas and if you'd have gone through that way, setting up through Atlas, you'd see exactly the same in Compass.
Right. Yeah, and that's why I think Compass is fantastic. Super powerful tool.
It is. It's, as I said, it's often overlooked, but you've got your aggregations in there. You've got your schemas. There's a ton of things that you can do in there. So it's well worth playing around with that. For those that use MongoDB, but maybe not via Compass, go have a play with it. It's amazing, especially when you want to have a look at your collections and documents as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. So here is, I'm going to click into the one that I already have spun up.
Hmm.
Here you can see the monthly rate, which is $15 a month. And again, we try to keep simplicity and pricing upfront. We have trusted sources, which is my local computer here, and the app platform showcase, which is one of my app platform apps, which we'll talk about soon.
Hmm.
VPC network here. But the other things that we can do for you, right, is we do insights as far as CPU usage, load, memory, disk, all that good stuff.
That's great. So you really you have all of those insights to, and obviously now the logs as well too, that for those who want to stick within DigitalOcean, you're never having to bounce out to you don't want to, you've set that up via DigitalOcean. You don't need to go to Atlas to see kind of how to monitor and administrator what's going on there. It's all coming back into your dashboard.
Yep, absolutely. So, especially like you said, if anybody's already in the DO dashboard, right? Like having everything under one roof is
Mm.
such a peace of mind. User and database administration. So we have our users here that I was messing around with. Databases, like if I created one for books, and I'll click save here. And that will go ahead and create it. I am gonna just drop in some data into this new database that we created.
Mhm.
And let me go grab some. I have this GitHub repo with some resources. I'm just gonna download one of these MongoDB JSON files. And this comes from the MongoDB repo.
Mhm.
So I'll download these books and I'll switch back over to Compass. And what we can do is say, we'll refresh the databases here and you'll see this new books one.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. And if I just drop into the default collection, add data, import JSON or CSV, and I'll drop in the books. And I'll just delete the default one. But there you go, right? So again, all your documents in the database, thanks to Compass, and you can see them all in the DO dashboard. Or sorry, not the documents themselves, more just seeing the logs that things were happening. But yeah, so everything you'd expect there in settings, you can resize your database if you start to see scaling happen. You can bump up to the 30, to the 60. You can bump up to a dedicated CPU.
That's great that you can still do that from inside the dashboard as well too, going forward. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we talked about, right? Like, as scaling it becomes an issue, like what does it look like, and how does burst pricing and everything like that work? Well, you just come in here, you drop in the price that you want, add standby nodes if you want, and then just click, and it'll be reconfigured for you.
Excellent. It couldn't be easier. That's perfect.
Question from William in chat. Does MongoDB have a vector storage offering? I actually don't know that.
We do. We have vector search now. So obviously with all the huge amount of Gen AI that's development and apps and large language models and embeddings, etc., that are out there at the moment, we launched in June of this year our vector search database. So that allows you to store your vectors alongside your data in Atlas. So you're not spinning up anything separate. The data is stored together, which makes your queries and your searches super powerful. So I don't know, do we allow that to happen yet via DigitalOcean, though? I don't have the answer to the second part. Any ideas, Chris?
I'm not entirely sure on that. I want to say not yet.
What I saw on the way in there that it was MongoDB 6.0, and so vector search is a 7.0 thing. So I'm assuming as DigitalOcean migrate to 7.0 as an available, then it'll just come standard with that. I don't see how it would be any different. Essentially, the vectors are stored in and alongside your data in those documents.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Something to look at further. So many vector storage offerings coming online lately.
That's huge. And I think, the key thing, I suppose, is that, as all of the companies with all their various LLMs and all of the Gen AI tools, etc., And as you said earlier, everybody's doing AI stuff now, Chris, right? So, you got to have your vectors in there, and no better way than to store it alongside your existing data and not have somewhere separate that you've got to do a double trip to go and find any queries or any search results.
Yeah, absolutely. And seeing more of them integrate search, like as a first class citizen of the vectored storage, is what I'm seeing more of as well.
Yeah. It's changing so quickly. It's super hard to keep up. I find, things are changing all of the time, and just when you've got the grips with some of the tooling that's out there, all of a sudden they change it, or they combine it, or they give it a new name, right? Yep. So then you go, hold on, how is this different than what I was using before? And but the space is just like, I think it probably caught everybody unaware, but the changes since probably this time last year, when ChatGPT was just coming on the scene and becoming normalized, and people were trying to use it a bit, to where we are 1 year later. It's just 1 year later. It's incredible amount of change I've seen.
And the most ridiculous part is that ChatGPT API that everybody's using, right? Like, was March 1 of this year.
Yeah.
So what's happened in 7 months?
Yeah, it is crazy. And we've done a lot for those. William, thank you for your question. If you want, there are previous live streams on MongoDB, YouTube, and LinkedIn that you'll see a lot of the Gen AIs and us doing some demos with different embeddings as well too. So do check those out, definitely. Yeah. So William, now we've got this spun up, and you've shown how easy it was to do that, how pretty quickly it was to get it up and running, how it was very parallel via the dropping into Compass and having a look. It's exactly the same as what you would expect, and that you can do your insights and your logs. Tell us what more then. You talked at the beginning about, DigitalOcean and I suppose the app services as well too. Yes. The app platform, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so app platform, droplets, Kubernetes here, and that one is spun up. We'll go ahead and integrate with that. I'm going to click in, make sure that one of my apps has access to it. So let's see. Okay, I'm done with that. Yep. So let's say App Platform Showcase is one of my App Platform apps that already has access. What I can do now is I can go into apps on the left side here. And here are all of my App Platform apps. And I can click create app here, or from the top level dropdown. But I can create an app, and you can pull from any of these source code repos. So if I wanted to spin something brand new up, you could go from GitHub, just pull out your repository for anything that you have, drop in your environment variables, link it to a database, all that good stuff. So I'm going to show it to you from what an already created app UI looks like.
Okay.
So this is the App Platform app. It has global CDN for you. It has app health checks. It can create, this one is free. You have 3 starter apps for free.
Okay.
And what I can do here is I can go create or attach a database. So let me attach a database to this.
I love the progress spinner, the under the water.
Sammy the shark.
It's Sammy, is it?
Yes, Sammy
the shark.
So you can spin up with a dev database right here, or one of the already created databases that we have, which we have them. So I'm going to go ahead and go for this MongoDB TV one. And it says to help protect your data, make sure you add as a trusted source, which we have already done. And I'll click attach database. So now this app is essentially an App Platform Showcase app, which is basically a GitHub repo, and this database. So now you can start to see how we can piece together a bunch of components to build out one giant application. So what I've seen a lot of people start doing is saying, "Oh, I want to deploy a Node backend as my API, which
Right.
connects to a database." So that's now two components, and then you can deploy something like a React app, a Vue app on the front end, which connects to the Node backend. So now you have three components, three separate,
Hmm.
um, well, two separate GitHub repos and a database that
And
are
is there
all.
any limit to the? I know why you wouldn't want to have too many as a developer. You don't want to be all over the place. But would there be any limit to how many components you could have?
That's a good question. I'm not sure on that one.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't reached it, and I've thrown in like 5 is kinda like
Okay.
my max. Yeah.
Okay. Good to hear.
Yeah. But again, with, app platform, as you saw with Manage Mongo, you can go ahead, come in here, and as you start to see some scale, change out your well, I have to do it from the component level. So I'll close this. If I wanted to go into my app platform component, scroll down. Oh, sorry. It's a static site, so there's no real scaling of this one.
Mhm.
It's a static site that sits on our global CDN. So, whatever traffic gets hit to it, static site, it'll be good. Um, but if you had deployed a Node application, a
Mhm.
PHP app,
Mhm.
Python, you could scale this as you start to see your logs and your usage increase.
Okay. So it's apparent really to me that, having the app platform and the ability to go in and choose your database and put together these components and go in and select your repository on GitHub or wherever else that you might have it, it really, really streamlines the application development process, right?
Yes, I think so, and I think that's what we're aiming for, right? Is everybody's got like 5 different GitHub repos for a certain
Mm.
project nowadays. The everybody's talking about mono repos, microservices, and this is kind of our answer to say, hey, look, let's try to co-locate them into one area, try to get them to like mentally from an administration standpoint,
Mhm. Mhm.
live all together.
Okay. Okay. And I presume in your role as a developer advocate, Chris, you're meeting developers all the time at events or online or whatever like. Do you get an aha moment from them when they realize how straightforward this would be for them to do? And maybe they've got whatever their app architected entirely different, and they're realizing, if I'd have known this from the start.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm seeing is like there is no shortage of ways to configure these apps. Like so many people I talk to, I'm like, wow, I haven't seen that
Mhm.
deployment before, or like that setup before, and it's it shows why there's so many different types of like tools for deployment, right? Like
Yeah.
it's what suits your needs. So I think App Platform tries to be very like, hey, these are components,
Mhm.
organize them together. And then one thing I haven't talked about yet is how we can link environment variables together. So
Okay.
this component, the database here is named MongoDB TV, right? So
Mhm.
if I go into my app platform app and I click edit for our environment variables, I can actually say like
Okay.
DB password. So this GitHub repo can get an environment variable from the already deployed um,
Okay.
Mongo
Yeah.
database,
Yeah.
and you could call it like this: MongoDB TV password.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
So that's where you start to see a little bit more of that connection happening
Mhm.
between the two things, between our components, is when you start sharing environment variables across all of them. Um, and yeah, let's see, but not just that one, right? Like any of the components in this app platform app can be
Mhm.
pulled from to get
Okay.
their environment variables.
Okay. So again, making it super simple and easy to manage and to set up and then obviously to go and connect as well too.
Yes,
So they can
and
share these environment variables. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
So that's going to make developers' lives easier. And that's what we're all about, I suppose. The key thing. And where do you see people considering, app platform to have the most significant impact for them when they hear about it and what they can do there?
Yeah, I think there's such a strength to saying, deploy from GitHub, right?
Mm, mm,
And you see it with the growth of these tools like, Vercel and Netlify.
mhm,
Um, but with that tooling, and you start to see them doing a little bit more of the back end server type stuff, right? But um, I think this is still a kind of cleaner way to do a database plus a back end service plus a front
mhm,
end service. There's still like a lot you can do with a classic Node app or a classic
mhm,
like Laravel app, right?
mhm, mhm.
So for me, just being able to deploy those pretty quickly and use them in conjunction with each other. And then another thing App Platform can do is HTTP request routes.
Oh,
So
okay.
let me go to the overall top level setting, and those are redirect routes. But
Mhm.
what you can do for this is say like, oh, I want slash the homepage to be the static site, but if I wanted to do slash app, I want to route that to one of the other components.
Okay. Okay.
So instead of messing around with like your Nginx config or any of that kind of
Mhm.
stuff, you can do it all from the dashboard here.
Okay. Again, super easy, and yeah, it's an everyday thing that developers have to face, and if they can go in and configure it here,
Yeah,
that's
and the
ideal.
thing I see most used for that is slash blog, right?
Okay. All right. Where they're redirecting somewhere else.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they can deploy like a simple static site with like a markdown backend,
Mhm.
um, but their front end of the site and their dashboard of the site are two different things as well. I've seen that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And in terms of the, learning curve for people coming on to DigitalOcean, beginners jumping on board, I'm assuming you have all the usual tutorials, documentations, getting started, etc. as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. DigitalOcean prides itself on its community, on its tutorials, and yeah, just getting started, deploying apps, learning about whatever you want to learn about droplets, like learning about Ubuntu and all that good stuff,
Mhm.
learning about just deploying apps and connecting to different databases. Um, yeah, if you just go to digitalocean.com/community, you'll be able to see all the tutorials there.
Okay, excellent. And any other resources that you would send people to? I know that we have, and let me put them up as banners actually. I will put these into the chats as well too, but you can learn more. I put in some short links so it's easier for those on the stream to pick them up. mdb.link is the way we put forward everything. So you can learn about the managed MongoDB on DigitalOcean. Sorry for the space in DigitalOcean there. I thought I fixed that. So just go to mdb.link/managed MongoDB, and that will get you in there to that page. Maybe actually, Chris, while you have your screen share there, you might show what's up on that page on your site, um, which is very handy. Hopefully the link redirects properly. Oh, is it your typo or mine? Please work. Please work. Yay! There you go. Perfect. So anybody who wants to find out anything about Managed MongoDB, it's all there on your site as well too. As we said at
Yes.
the beginning, this is, our Cloud Connect show is all about our partners. So we also have a page on MongoDB that talks about our partnership with DigitalOcean and what we do together. It's a long-term partner. We work together to make this integration happen, to allow you to do manage MongoDB from all inside DigitalOcean as well too. So do check that out. And I see your nice pop-up there, right? So tell us about that, the $200 of credits.
Yes, thank you for calling that out. We have $200 of credits for new DigitalOcean customers. So if you are wanting to try out DigitalOcean, this is kind of like our best offer and saying, hey, come try this out. As you saw, spinning up a MongoDB database on DigitalOcean was $15, right, per month. And spinning up an app platform app can be free for your first 3, and then the ones after that start at, I believe, like $7 per month. So you can do a lot with this $200, and I
You could
think
get
we
it nearly a year there, right? So perhaps depending on the size, right?
depending on the size, yeah. But we have a link for that as well if you want to drop that.
Yes. So this is the link. I left all of it in. We will post it into the chat as well too. So digitalocean.com/try/manage databases MongoDB. So drop in that while we're chatting. I'll try and copy that and get it into our comments as well on YouTube and LinkedIn, so you can see that there. Most definitely. Anything else, I suppose, about either Managed MongoDB or App Platform that we didn't talk about or I didn't ask questions about while you were doing the demo of it, Chris?
I want to call out Rajesh in chat real quick. Black tea or energy drink? Black coffee.
Black coffee. There you go. Thank you, Rajesh.
Yeah. Straight energy, straight caffeine. No, I think we did a great job. And thanks for all your questions and everybody in chat as well for, I think we did a great job of showing, MongoDB, manage MongoDB on DigitalOcean and why like connecting to your other DigitalOcean products. That's kind of like our main thing that we want to show off, right? Because as you said earlier, there's a lot of places to get MongoDB, but ultimately it depends on your team and where your team works. And if you're doing a lot on DigitalOcean, if you're deploying droplets to app platform apps to Kubernetes, we think Manage Mongo on DigitalOcean is a good add-on to your apps here.
Yeah, and as you saw and as you shared, I mean, I think the two services are very streamlined and work together to just enhance and make your application development process super easy from a developer's perspective, right?
Yeah, and we've done a lot of work on that. There's been a bunch of iterations on how we can make that connection, like mentally from a UI standpoint, try to look as seamless as possible, and I think it's pretty solid so far.
Yeah, well, that's superb. A couple of things, I suppose, for me that I always tend to ask my guests anyway is, Chris, where do you go to learn yourself? Keep up to date with everything you're doing. We talked about the swift advancements of AI and all the Gen AI platforms and tools and everything like that. But on a day-to-day basis, how do you keep on top of your role and on top of your game at DigitalOcean?
Yeah. It's funny because I like had this question the other day, and I don't feel like I'm doing a lot of deep learning anymore,
Right.
Which I thought about it and it kind of makes me a little sad. So, because everything right now is like short-term content, right? Like you look at Twitter, X, and everything's, bite-sized content. And I just miss the deep dive. I miss the long blog posts where you have to like sit down, grab a drink and say, okay, I'm going to read this thing and it'll take an hour and I'll have to like stop and reevaluate my thought process. But so I love to see any like long blogs come through my feed because it's rarer these days.
And you still have the capacity for those long form articles. I think that's one of the things that I find myself reading something and then a notification comes in and I jump to the notification.
Absolutely.
It's constant distraction, right?
It's constant. Yeah. I have to like really, really try to not be distracted. But yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I notice it too. And it's like, I sat down to read this thing and I know I'm being distracted, but there's just so much in the AI space right now that I think I really want to just sit down and like learn a little bit more about that. Sounds like William in chat is already doing that and get his vector databases search. Yeah.
And tell me this, what's exciting coming forward in DigitalOcean that you can tell us about? Is there anything new coming down the tracks from DigitalOcean for developers?
Let me think about that. We just had Hacktoberfest, which was kind of like after Hacktoberfest at DigitalOcean, it's like let's
Okay.
take a step back and breathe, because it's such a lively month.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, as far as things are going at DigitalOcean, I think we don't have anything new to announce right now, or like tease. I think a lot of it is saying like, look, let's look at our current product offerings and let's keep making them, reevaluate them to make them as simple and as simple as and then simple, as simple as efficient as possible. And I think that's what we're seeing at DigitalOcean right now, is like saying, look, let's perfect everything we're doing currently.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm.
but that's kind of DigitalOcean. And then on the other side of things, we just acquired Paperspace, which is um, a giant AI project for us.
Mhm.
So we want to bring simplicity to the AI space, as we've done for like droplets and servers. We
Makes
want to
sense.
do that in the AI space. And I think that's still kind of being built out, integrating Paperspace into like what DigitalOcean is. And we're evaluating the best ways to do that.
Yeah, which is always a hard project in itself, right? To, how to integrate an acquisition,
Yeah.
and how to manage that, and keep the best bits, and all of that good stuff as well too.
Yeah.
You
And
mentioned
keep the culture,
Hacktoberfest.
right?
Yeah, well, that's a bigger challenge sometimes in
Yeah.
acquisitions as well too. You mentioned Hacktoberfest. Any interesting projects come out of that, or anything interesting you can work on that you can tell us?
Um, I don't have any like specific projects to call out, but one thing I want to say is like this was going to be an interesting year for us, because this was the year that we said, you know what, we're not going to do t-shirts this year.
Okay.
Um, so what we saw was, like, people would join just to get the t-shirt, right? And
You've
what
seen
we've
that a
seen
lot.
this year, which is kind of what we were hoping for, is um, stronger engagement.
Mm,
Like, the
mhm,
people joining were there to join for open source,
mm,
for truly like helping out the community. So seeing that engagement still, because we were, a little bit afraid, like, are people gonna join without the reward,
mhm.
And they still came through. So that's like where we stand, and super happy with the output.
Yeah, which is always good. I mean, it's always a concern. I know, like, we in MongoDB would do a lot of hackathons. I think in the past we probably would have quite significant cash prizes for hackathons, and then we
Mm,
deliberately went, no, we're doing this for the participation. We're doing this for the greater good of learning and building communities, etc. So look, we still had some prizes per se, but it wasn't a cash prize, because I know when we did those, we sometimes attracted the wrong sort of developers, and we would see projects being just revamped slightly from a previous hackathon and
right.
submitted into these other ones. And you just don't want that to happen. You want to build that sense of community, and I think that's what we try to do here in MongoDB as well. We do a lot of MongoDB meetups. We're doing a lot of developer days, and we've nearly finished. We have 3 to go, but we've done our .local event, which used to be a really big one in New York over a couple of
Mm,
days, and then smaller-ish ones in a couple of other territories. We did 29 of them in loads of places all over the world
wow.
this year, essentially to go where our developers are and not have them having to travel to go see us. We went to where they were. So again, meeting those developers face to face, as you do in your day job as well, Chris, is really meaningful. You get those nice insights, and I like the way you approached Hacktoberfest then. So none of the no t-shirts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd love to see more of that local engagement happening, right? Like,
Mm.
that's where I've met so many really, really great people, and still to this day connect with them online. But there's just something about that in-person event.
Oh, totally. There is. And look, as much as we've got used to living in this on-screen world over COVID and all of that, there's a certain, I would say, serendipity, in being out there and meeting people, and even coworkers and colleagues at these events as well too is ideal as well. But to understand developers' key concerns, that look, we all have our forums and we have our ways of getting in contact with us, but to have that one-on-one conversation and to tease down. And I'm sure you have it yourself when you show a developer app platform or, and something on the DigitalOcean dashboard, like, oh, wow, to get that initial feedback. We meet people all the time who, know of MongoDB of old, and they're using it primarily as a database, but it's now a developer data platform with everything that we've layered on top of that. And that's what they mightn't know about. They're just kind of connecting. They've got their connection string. They're using it. They've got their collections. And it's like, oh, you can do this? Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Can you do this as well? Yeah, you can. And even going back to the vector search question we had earlier as well, too, we're constantly building over time. This has been superb. I think, from showing us how swiftly and how easily you could spin up MongoDB via DigitalOcean and Managed MongoDB was really good, to show us the power and simplicity of the app platform, and that, in reality, that you can do an awful lot of anything that you need to do via the DigitalOcean dashboard is superb. I think it's been a great exposure to me. I haven't used it myself in much anger, and I certainly will, and try and spin it up for some projects as well too. I know we've had some questions. We did manage to take care of them. As I said at the beginning of our stream, I do think we usually get a ton of LinkedIn questions. Our audience on LinkedIn is much bigger than on YouTube. It seems to be most of the questions coming in for YouTube. So if you were on LinkedIn and trying to post a question and it didn't appear in our feed and we didn't get to answer it, I do apologize. Please maybe add a comment afterwards and we'll jump back into those pages and have a look. But this has been superb. Chris, it's been great to learn, great to spend some time with you, understand a little bit more about DigitalOcean's app platform, Managed MongoDB, and the other services that you have. Any last words for our viewers before we bid them goodbye?
No, this has been fun. I appreciate it, Shane, and everybody in chat. That's thanks for making it lively. Like, always love when chat's chatting.
Yeah, and if you're still on chat and you want to ask a question just before we end the stream, drop it in now. You've got about 30 seconds left. Best of luck, Chris, in your house move. And it's great to be one of your final streams from this studio that you have.
Yeah.
And good luck setting up your new home studio in Colorado.
Yeah, right on. Thanks. Thanks,
Excellent.
Shane. Thanks, Megan. Thanks, William.
Thank you, Chris. We do appreciate it. Thank you for everybody who joined us. As I said, keep an eye out for every Thursday, usually every Thursday, we are streaming on Cloud Connect, but actually on MongoDB, we're streaming all of the time. There's a bunch of other shows hosted by my colleagues as well, too. So just keep an eye on LinkedIn and YouTube Live, and it's a pleasure to have you. Chris, you've been superb. A previous boss of mine said, the reward for good work is more work. So I'll get you back at some stage, especially as you integrate Paperspace. I'd love to come back and figure out what's happened there and how that is. So I'll put a date in your calendar sometime in the future.
Absolutely. Well,
excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for everyone who joined us. Do take care wherever you are. It's been a pleasure. This is MongoDB TV Cloud Connect. I'm Shane McAllister. We look forward to seeing you again.